the audience.
Good morning, everyone. I usually get more than that at church or someplace, right? Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'm Chairman Milt Thompson, and we're delighted to be here in this very, very fine facility. I know we'll hear more about it a little bit later in our agenda, but I want to go ahead and call us to order our September 27th meeting of 1922. Mr. Ferguson, that takes us back, doesn't it? A few years, 1922. Very few of us remember that, but that's okay. We're going to call this 22 meeting together, and with that, we'll have a roll call, please. Mr. Small?
Chairman Thompson,
I'm here.
Vice Chair Fine,
Present.
Secretary Dudich,
From a distance, I'm here.
Commissioner Cohen,
Present.
Commissioner Houseman.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. We have a listed quorum, and again, thank you all for participating. Those of you who have a role today, we're going to ask that you speak up loud so people can hear you and understand you, and any questions that come before you, so that we can make sure that we've got a good record of that. Executive Director's report, Mr. Small.
Thank you. First off, new hires. We have one in our audit department, and that is Michelle Parker. Michelle has a bachelor's degree in finance from the University of Southern Indiana. She brings with her 10 years of casino experience. Michelle started her career with Bally's Casino, formerly known as Tropicana Evansville. She held various titles at the casino, including audit clerk, accounts payable clerk, staff accountant, and casino audit supervisor. We're very excited to have her as part of our team. Reinvestigations. Our investigations division has completed reinvestigations for the following licensees: TCS John Huxley, Aristocrat Technologies, and Mask Publishing. The confidential reports are in your materials, commissioners, and Director Brown is present should you have any additional questions. For exclusions, since the June 2022 business meeting, commission staff has added 16 individuals to the exclusion list. The total now sits at 949 individuals excluded statewide. The IGC has also granted one waiver to Indiana casinos since the previous meeting. This information is included in your materials and will also be posted to the commission website. And lastly, did want to give a note about the upcoming disparity study. Indiana law requires the commission to conduct a disparity study every 5 years. The last disparity study was conducted in 2017, and work is currently underway on a study that will be released at the December commission meeting. Drew Classic with the Public Policy Institute, who completed the previous study, is also conducting this one and will begin outreach this week. We urge all casinos to ask your vendors, MBEs, WBEs, and non-M and WBEs to complete our survey and consider participating in our outreach meetings. These will be held virtually to make these meetings more accessible to all business owners. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Small. We'd like to, anyone's going to be speaking today, administer an oath. For those of you who are here going to be speaking, would you stand and have the oath administered?
You please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do hereby solemnly swear, subject to the penalties of perjury, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm going to call for any old business. Any old business? Hearing no old business. Any new business? Any new business to come before the commission? Hearing none, how about a transfers of ownership?
Alex Dudley.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, before you have order 2022-126, which involves an ownership transfer request between supplier licensee NYX Digital Gaming and Endeavor Group Holdings. Upon receiving the transfer application, the commission completed a background and financial investigation, finding that the transferee was substantially compliant with Indiana statutes and regulations, and finding no derogatory information that would affect the transferee's suitability for holding the interest in NYX. Approving order 2022-126 would have the effect of approving the ownership transfer request. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dudley. Any questions of Mr. Dudley from commissioners? Then I will call for a motion to approve the executive orders 2022 through 126.
Move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Stioli?
Good morning, Commissioners. Have before you orders 2022-127 through 2022-130 concerning petitions for removal from the exclusion list of Tracy Andrews, Jim Jablonski, Leroy Brewer, and Eddie Rivera. Petitioners have been placed on the exclusion list for over 3 years and have petitioned to be removed from the exclusion list. Telephonic hearings were conducted at which each provided support for their petitions. Based on the totality of factors relevant in these matters, the reviewing officer has concluded that Andrews, Jablonski, Brewer, and Rivera have met the standard of clear convincing evidence as reflected in staff's findings of fact and recommendation. Adopting staff's findings and recommendations would have the effect of granting petitioners petitions for removal from the statewide exclusion list.
Thank you, Ms. Stioli. Any questions of Ms. Stioli? Congratulations on your new appointment, by the way, and we're
you.
delighted to have you here and presenting. No other questions from the commissioners. We'll ask for the petition for removal from exclusions list, motion to approve orders 2022 through 127 through 2022 through 130. Is there a motion?
Move for approval. Second.
There is a motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we're going to license renewal. Mr. Neal?
Morning, Commissioners. You have before you order 2022-131 pursuant to Indiana Code Section 433(7)(8) and 68, Indiana Administrative Code Section 2-2-8. The supplier's license must be renewed each year along with payment of $700 or $7,500 renewal fee. Each of the following licensees has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment. Gaming Partners International USA Incorporated, Gaming Arts, Neo Game Solutions, Every Games Incorporated, GLP Capital LP, Galaxy Gaming, NYX Digital, and Global Surveillance Associates. Approving order 2022-131 would have the effect of renewing the license of each of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year. Thank you. And Commissioners, next on your agenda, you have before you orders 2022-132, 2022-133, and 2022-134 regarding the renewal of Blue Chip, Rising Star, and Belterra's casino owners license renewals respectively. Blue Chip, Rising Star, and Belterra have all filed proper paperwork and paid their renewal.
Could you speak up a little bit, please?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Previously by orders 2021-130, 2021-131, and 2021-206, the commission has approved the written power of attorneys for Blue Chip, Rising Star, and Belterra respectively. These approvals expire upon the renewal of the casino owner's license, and for that reason, all casinos must request renewal of the commission's approval of the written power of attorney concurrently with the request for renewal, or present the commission with a new written power of attorney naming a new trustee in waiting. Blue Chip, Rising Star, and Belterra have all stated their intent to maintain their existing trustees in waiting and have not presented the commission with any modifications to their power of attorney. Approving orders 2022-132, 2022-133, and 2022-134 would have the effect of renewing the license and approving the power of attorneys for Blue Chip, Rising Star, and Belterra for a period of 1 year. Thank you. And So next, you have before you orders 2022 or order 2022-135, and pursuant to Indiana Code Section 438.81, the certificate of authority must be renewed each year along with the payment of a $50,000 renewal fee. Each of the following certificate holders has submitted a timely request for renewal along with the required payment. Ameristar Casino East Chicago LLC, Centaur Acquisition LLC doing business as Horseshoe Indianapolis, Indiana Gaming Company LLC doing business as Hollywood Casino, Hoosier Park LLC doing business as Caesars Race and Sportsbook Indianapolis, Horseshoe Hammond LLC, Blue Chip Casino LLC, Blue Sky Casino LLC doing business as French Lick Resort, Belterra Resort Indiana LLC, Astar Indiana Gaming Company LLC doing business as Bally's Evansville, Caesars Riverboat Casino LLC doing business as Caesars Southern Indiana, Hoosier Park LLC doing business as Caesars Race and Sportsbook Clarksville, Hoosier Park LLC doing business as Harris Hoosier Park, and Hoosier Park LLC doing business as Caesars Race and Sportsbook New Haven. Approving orders 2022-135 would have the effect of renewing the certificates of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year. Thank you. And finally,
Continue with sports wagering vendors.
and finally, you have before you order 2022-136 pursuant to Indiana Code Section 4-38-6-6. A vendor's license must be renewed each year along with the payment of a $50,000 renewal fee. Each of the following licensees has submitted a timely request for renewal with the required payment. Unibet Indiana LLC, the vendor for Horseshoe Hammond, American Wagering doing business as Caesars Sportsbook for Hoosier Park, Betfair Interactive LLC or USA doing business as FanDuel for Blue Chip, Betfair Interactive US doing business as FanDuel for Belterra, American Wagering doing business as Caesars Sportsbook for Bally's, and Crown Indiana Gaming doing business as DraftKings. Approving order 2022-136 would have the effect of renewing the license of each of the respective licensees for a period of 1 year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. Any questions of Mr. Neal before he takes a seat? No questions of you, Mr. Neal. Now we'll look for a motion to approve orders 2022-131 through 2022-136.
Move for approval. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Mr. Brown? We'll look at permanent licenses.
Good morning, Commissioners and Executive Staff. You have before you order 2022-137 regarding the permanent licensure of supplier applicant Pala Interactive. On or about May 2nd, 2020, Pala Interactive submitted a supplier's license application to the Indiana Gaming Commission. Pala supplies a variety of software and products to support the sports wagering industry, including player account management systems and platforms. After a review of the submitted applications, Commission staff issued a temporary license to Pala on June 24th, 2020. Commission staff conducted a background and financial investigation on Pala, substantial owners, and key persons. Commission staff could find no derogatory information that would affect the applicant's suitability. Staff's final report regarding Pala has been made available for your review. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions for Mr. Brown? Hearing none, thank you very much. Motion to approve order 2022-137.
Move for approval. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Ms. Bunton, disciplinary actions.
Good morning, Commissioners and Executive Staff. You have before you 5 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary actions against licensed suppliers, 12 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary action against casinos, 4 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary action against corporate, and 8 settlement agreements concerning disciplinary actions against sports wagering operators. Order 2022-138 is a settlement agreement with Aristocrat Technologies totaling $1,500. Order 2022-139 is a settlement agreement with Gaming Arts LLC totaling $2,000. Order 2022-140 is a settlement agreement with IGT, including 2 counts totaling $6,000. Order 2022-141 was removed from the agenda. Order 2022-142 is a settlement agreement with NRT Technology totaling $3,000. Order 2022-143 is a settlement agreement with SG Gaming doing business as Scientific Games, including 2 counts totaling $8,000. Order 2022-144 is a settlement agreement with Ameristar East Chicago, including 3 counts totaling $4,000. Order 2022-145 is a settlement agreement with Bally's Evansville, including 6 counts totaling $27,500 and the submission of internal controls for sports wagering prohibited participants. Order 2022-146 is a settlement agreement with Belterra Casino, including 3 counts totaling $4,400. Order 2022-147 is a settlement agreement with Blue Chip Casino including 2 counts totaling $6,500. Order 2022-148 is a settlement agreement with Caesar Southern Indiana, including 4 counts totaling $32,500. Order 2022-149 is a settlement agreement with French Lake Resort Casino, including 4 counts totaling $5,500. Order 2022-150 is a settlement agreement with Hard Rock Northern Indiana, including 6 counts totaling $20,000. Order 2022-151 is a settlement agreement with Harris Hoosier Park, including 5 counts totaling $20,000 and the submission of a remediation plan for the continued violations in the soft count room. Order 2022-152 is a settlement agreement with Hollywood Casino, including 5 counts totaling $27,500. Order 2022-153 is a settlement agreement with Horseshoe Hammond, including 5 counts totaling $11,000. Order 2022-154 is a settlement agreement with Horseshoe Indianapolis, including 9 counts totaling $40,500. Order 2022-155 is a settlement agreement with Rising Star Casino, including 5 counts totaling $14,500. Order 2022-156 is a settlement agreement with Bally's Corporation totaling $1,500. Order 2022-157 is a settlement agreement with Boyd Gaming Corporation totaling $3,000. Order 2022-158 is a settlement agreement with Caesars Holding Incorporated totaling $3,000. Order 2022-159 is a settlement agreement with Penn Entertainment Incorporated, formerly known as Penn National Gaming Incorporated, including 2 counts totaling $4,000. Order 2022-160 was removed from the agenda. Order 2022-161 is a settlement agreement with Bally's Interactive LLC, doing business as Bally Bet, including 4 counts totaling $5,625. Order 2022-162 is a settlement agreement with American Wagering Incorporated, doing business as Caesar Sportsbook, including 3 counts totaling $11,000 in the submission of a remediation plan for the retail sportsbook operations at Bally's Evansville. Order 2022-163 is a settlement agreement with Crown Indiana Gaming, doing business as DraftKings, including 2 counts totaling $1,500. Order 2022-164 is a settlement agreement with Betfair Interactive LLC, doing business as FanDuel Sportsbook, including 3 counts totaling $16,750. Order 2022-165 is a settlement agreement with Caesars Racing Sportsbook Clarksville, totaling $2,500. Order 2022-166 is a settlement agreement with PointsBet Indiana LLC, doing business as PointsBet, totaling $1,000. Order 2022-167 is a settlement agreement with Seminole Hard Rock Digital, totaling $6,000. Order 2022-168 is a settlement agreement with WSI US, doing business as WinBet, including 2 counts totaling $3,500. Relevant details for each settlement agreement have been provided to you in your meeting materials. Details on the settlement agreements will also be available on the Commission's website following the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Ms. Dunn, please? No questions? Joe, I'll seek a motion to approve the order 2022 through 138 through 2022-168.
I'll make the motion, but I think there were a few of the orders that were pulled. So I think it's 2022-138 through 2022-168, less 2022-141 and 2022-160.
Yeah, those are the 2 that are missing.
Yeah, so those, yeah, okay. There's my motion.
Yes, that's correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion, 2022 through 138 through 2022, 168. All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Occupational licenses. Ms. Yoli.
Commissioners, you have before you Order 2022-169 concerning an application for an occupational license to work for an Indiana licensee. With regard to this order, the applicant failed to disclose her complete criminal history and therefore failed to meet the established standards for licensure. The applicant was given an opportunity to withdraw her application from consideration, but failed to do so. Detailed information regarding this order is contained in your confidential commission materials. Approving Order 2022-169 would have the effect of denying this application.
Any questions of Ms. Dioli? Hearing none, motion to approve the order of 2022-169.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second, and is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you.
Ms. Dioli. Mr. Neal, disciplinary actions and settlements.
Commissioners, you now have before you orders 2022-170 through 2022-180. Orders 2022-170 through 2022-180 concern settlement agreements between the commission staff and occupational licensees. In lieu of disciplinary action, commission staff offered each of these licensees a settlement agreement that would have them agree to an unpaid voluntary relinquishment of their occupational license for a period of regularly scheduled working days with no vacation or other paid time off to be used. Each of these licensees has agreed to the terms of the settlement agreements, and detailed information regarding each of these matters is contained in the confidential materials that have been provided to the commission. Approving orders 2022-170 through 2022-180 would have the effect of ratifying the agreements with the occupational licensees.
Any questions of Mr. Neal? If not, we'll move motion to approve orders 2022 through 171 through 2022-180.
I move for approval. Second.
Hear a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion on the motion. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved. Rules and resolutions, Mr. Neal, we want to continue.
Yep, we've got a lot of rulemaking stuff today. Commissioners, I would like to next turn your attention to some of those resolutions involving the promulgation of administrative rules. Resolution 2022-181 concerns the readoption of administrative rules that are set to expire on January 1st of this coming year. Administrative rules adopted under Indiana Code Chapter 4-22-2 expire on January 1st of the 7th year after the year in which the rules take effect, unless the rules readopt. Commission staff began the readoption process by filing a notice of intent to readopt with the Indiana Register. Accordingly, Resolution 2022-181, if approved, will readopt the sections identified in the notice of intent without any changes or edits. The readopted rule will then be filed with the Indiana Register. And then next on the agenda, you have before you Resolution 2022-182 regarding the adoption of an emergency rule regarding casino owners, licensees, and other persons subject to the jurisdiction of the commission. The proposed emergency rule will supersede and replace LSA document 22-185E, the emergency rule adopted at the March 2022. The commission's reason and rationale for adopting the emergency rule remain true and support today's action. Commission staff is requesting that the commission adopt this emergency rule for the regular 90 days along with the 90-day extension, which would allow the emergency rule to run until March of 2023 or until the final rule takes effect. Commission staff is also presenting the permanent rule at this meeting on the casino owners licensees rule, and That is next on our agenda. But because of the amount of time it takes to formally promulgate the rule, it is highly unlikely that we will have the approvals necessary for our formal rule to take effect upon filing with the publisher. Thus, in order to avoid any gaps in coverage of the rules, commission staff is presenting this emergency rule for the approval. And so now I would like to turn your attention to Resolution 2022-183. And as you know, we have been operating under that set of emergency rules regarding the casino owners, licensees, and other persons subject to the jurisdiction of the commission. And the emergency rules were necessary to ensure the integrity and accountability of casino licensees in the state of Indiana. And the rule before you today has satisfied Indiana's rule promulgation process. Specifically, the following steps have been completed leading up to today. On January 18th of 2022, the Office of Management and Budget approved commission staff's request to promulgate the rules. On March 9th, 2022, the Legislative Services Agency posted the notice of intent to adopt a rule in the Indiana Register. On July 1st, 2022, the State Budget Agency approved the proposed rule and adopted the commission's fiscal impact analysis and cost benefit analysis. On July 27, 2022, the proposed rule was posted in the Indiana Register, and the commission staff held a public hearing on the proposed rule on August 23rd, 2022. Notice of hearing was published in the Indy Star on August 2nd and August 8th of 2022 and was posted on the IGC's website. No one attended the meeting in person, but some comments were received during the comment period. Those comments have been addressed through certain changes to the rule, and these changes have also been incorporated into the emergency rule previously presented to the commission. Should the rule be approved by the commission, commission staff will submit the final rule to the Office of the Indiana Attorney General for approval, and then will submit to the governor's office for approval. The proposed final rule will then be submitted to the Legislative Services Agency for posting in the Indiana Register. Commission staff recommended approval of Resolution 2022-183, which will have the effect of adopting the final rule for casino owners, licensees, and other persons subject to the jurisdiction of the commission. And finally, commissioners, you have before you Resolution 2022-184 regarding corrections to the sports wagering. An agency may amend another rule to replace an inaccurate reference to a statute when the inaccuracy is a result of the rearrangement of the state statute under a different citation number. Resolution 2022-184, if adopted, would have the effect of correcting inaccurate citations in our sports wagering rules.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. We've all been advised of the substance of each one of those rules. We have a ordering or numbers alteration. I got you.
It's 2022-181 through 2022-184.
So resolution 2022 through 181, 2022 Indiana Administrative Code of the readouts.
Mr. Neal, could you please just reiterate which numbers you're moving right now?
Yes.
We've got a little alternation.
Resolution 2022-181 for the readopts, Resolution 2022-182 for the emergency rule, Resolution 2022-183 for the final rule, and Resolution 2022-184 for the corrections to the sports wager.
Thank you. We have been advised of the substance of the rules. We had a little misordering of the numbering here, but now we're going to call for that resolution to be approved.
I move for approval of resolution numbers 2022-181 through 2022-184.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Neal. Mr. Dudley?
Commissioners, you now have before you order 2022-184 185 concerning a request received from casino licensee Caesar Entertainment, Inc., whereby it requested approval of a proposed financing transaction. In addition to seeking permission to act on the proposed financial transaction, casino licensee also requested a waiver of 68 IAC's so-called two-meeting requirement in accordance with the commission's authority contained in resolution 2017-109. Confidential details of the proposed financial transactions and the commission's staff's analysis were provided to the commissioners in their confidential materials. In accordance with the procedures identified in resolution 2017-109, the casino licensee was issued an interim approval for its proposed financing transaction. The interim approval contained the following conditions. First, the terms articulated in the final financing documentation do not materially differ from the terms that were presented in the written approval. Second, the terms of the final documentation do not violate IC 4-33 or 4-35. Third, the casino licensee must provide the commission with a legal opinion demonstrating compliance with IC 4-33 and 4-35. And finally, the casino licensee must close on its respective financial transaction by certain dates. Resolution 2017-109 requires that any interim financing approval that is issued must be reported to the commission for consideration and final ratification or other direction. Thank you.
Any questions of Mr. Dudley? Then I will call for the motion approval of those resolutions.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve order 2022-185 as presented by staff.
Second.
Any discussion? There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The motion carries.
Commissioners, next you have orders 2022-186 and 2022-187, which concern Ameristar Casino and Hollywood Casino's request to change the written power of attorney. Said request propose appointing Trinity Hill Group LLC and its principal member, Thomas Dingman, as their power of attorney. Pursuant to statute, each casino licensee must submit for approval by the commission a written power of attorney identifying the person who, if approved, would serve as the casino licensee's trustee to operate the casino. The power of attorney submitted under this subsection must, 1, be executed in the manner required by IC 30-5, 2, describe the powers that may be delegated to the proposed trustee, and 3, conform with the requirements established by the commission under IC 4-33-4-3A10. Approving orders 2022-186 and 187 would have the effect of granting Ameristar and Hollywood's request. Thank you.
Any questions of Mr. Dudley? Now I'll call for a motion to approve orders 2022-186 and 2022-187.
I move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Renewal of operations agreement, Mr. Marlin.
Thank you, Chair. Prior to French Lick's presentation today, IGC staff wanted to update you all on the status of the Orange County Casino Operating Agreement. Unlike our other casino licensees, under Indiana Code Chapter 4-33-6.5, our licensee, Blue Sky Casino LLC, operates the French Lick Casino pursuant to a contract with the states. That contract was initially entered into on November 9, 2005. The contract and statute allow Blue Sky to operate a casino French Lick for a period of 20 years with a 20-year renewal option. The effective date of the contract was October 31st, 2006, which was the date that French Lick opened its casino. In August of 2022, Blue Sky Casino informed the commission of its intention to renew the contract for another 20-year period upon its expiration on October 31st, 2026. The renewal is automatic to the statute and contract itself, with French Lick has demonstrated good cause for its request. By statute, French Lick will continue to be subject to the 3-year suitability investigations that IGC staff conducts, which last took place in 2021. The renewal does not require commission action. Staff Commission staff will begin working with the Indiana Department of Administration to formally renew the contract with the state of Indiana's contracting process and database. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. And if not, we'll welcome our guests from French Lick.
Our commission has been apprised and working through the contract with the state, and that's does not require a current action. So thank you for that, Mr. Mullen. Now you want to go ahead and introduce our guest.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and executive staff. My name is Chris Leininger. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the French Lick Resort. I have served in this position the past 17 years. We are here today as,
Chris?
Yeah.
Are you guys planning on presenting your PowerPoint?
yeah, I was gonna click to that here. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are here to make the request to provide the continuity and allow continuation of our planning of long-term projects and will ensure the resort's success and the region. As part of that, we are going to highlight from that operating agreement the recital in which it talked about the preservation of the historic hotels and the promotion of tourism that led to economic development in the county and the state as a whole. While unique in history, the hotels offer remarkable facilities as they are, and the amenities along with that. Without the casino, we just simply wouldn't be able to keep them in the first class condition that we have been able to maintain. Without the benefit of the casino cash flow, our world-class facilities and exceptional service would not be possible. In fact, both destinations have been able to not only maintain the restoration work that we did back in 2005 and 6, but we've also made a number of enhancements that have further added to the resort and its draw. I'd like to play a video detailing some of these things for those of you that have not been here, so you get a flavor for what we have been able to accomplish.
There's really no place like it in French Lick Resort, in the beautiful rolling hills of southern Indiana. Two very different historic hotels, nestled on 3,000 acres adjacent to the Hoosier National Forest, while offering easy access to the towns that share their names and their many amenities. These venerable hotel walls can't talk, but we can tell some fascinating stories on their feet. About West Bay's jaw-striking Dome Day trip. Or French Lick's dazzling gold-gilded line. Our challenging Donald Cross and deep dive courses make us a golf destination like no other. Our new Valley Wing of guest rooms and the Valley Sports Bar adjacent to the casino with an and/or visit with the addition of sports games. Completion of the reconstruction of an historic barn near the stables. The pegs and beams are remarkable. Also on the project list, restoration of the last significant untouched historic building on the West Baden grounds, the bowling and billiard pavilion. The resort continues to add amenities, from the new pool at French Lick to new walking and hiking trails. Our surrounding communities continue to grow as well. Well, the future for both resort and their intertwined. You need continued growth, and you need continued growth in amenities, from shopping to other activities to things that people who come here to enjoy the experience have an opportunity to enjoy, not just the resort. That said, the resort is the core of this rebirth still in progress. And these historic hotels are the heart and soul of all that makes us special.
We are proud of the work that we have been able to accomplish and the benefits that we have been able to provide to the local, region, and state. we have committed to continue this with the success of what we've been able to do. Our economic impact has been substantial throughout the region. As evidenced in 2019, the state of Indiana Department of Tourism performed a assessment with a consulting firm, and in that, the Orange County region was second of the 92 counties in per capita spending at $5,400. We also have enjoyed some notoriety and recognition. Going back to 2007, we had Diane Sawyer visit with her mother in the early part of the West Baden reopening and had breakfast. It wasn't until we were able to see her on Good Morning America that next week when she declared that the hotel was amazing, that everyone in America should go and see it. We also have most recently found that Golf Week put the Pete Dye Golf Course on the cover of its most recent edition. And as a recognition, it ranked us third in terms of casino golf courses in the country. It's with this type of accomplishment that we continue to build our reputation and ensure that we can continue to provide these amenities for years to come. With that, I'd like to introduce Dave Harner, who is the Town of French Lick Redevelopment Commission President.
Thank you. As Chris said, my name's Dave Harner. I'm a lifelong resident of Orange County, the French Lick area. In 2003, shortly after the fall election, I had the fortune or misfortune of being named clerk treasurer behind the clerk treasurer who was elected. At that time, I found that the town of French Lick finances were in dire need of help. Our general fund budget at that time was less than $300,000 a year to maintain a police department, fire department, and street services. We had a $100,000 note against our community building. We had evidently had depended upon a grant that didn't materialize. We had no way to pay it back. Our sewer department was defunct, and we were default on a bond at that time. I've always said there was never anything wrong with French Lick that $600 million wouldn't fix. And it sort of turned out to be that way. Our downtown in 2003 had not one single open business on the main street. Now we have restaurants, we have a refurbished historic building that houses retail on the ground floor, plus apartments upstairs, and all the retail space is full. We have another historic building that we're looking at right now to do a restoration as well with a similar desired outcome, retail ground floor and housing upstairs. Casino funds helped operate the town. The TIF funds from the various developments have allowed us to build new buildings in the downtown as well. We've built a 16 apartment tri-story with retail on the ground floor. We started with the $10 million startup bond, courtesy of the casino, and millions have flowed into the town from the gaming and from the TIF monies. At that time, Kimball Piano and Kimball Electronics was our primary employer. Both of those closed within a year. We had 13.5% unemployment at that time. Moving forward, we also have 12 new food venues in the area. We have 3 hotels in addition to the development of the new tower at French Lick. We have a Best Western with 74 rooms. We have a Comfort Suites with 84 rooms, and then Big Splash, which is a hotel affiliated with the Indiana's largest indoor water park with 162 rooms. Other attractions that have come have been our miniature golf, French Lick indoor karting. We have a drive-through wildlife adventure, and of course, as was mentioned earlier, the Pete Dye Golf Course. Through French Lick Tourism and the local CVB, new special events are popping up, and we most months have at least 2 public special events in our downtown area. Traffic from tourism has helped get us to the point where national restaurant brands have started to look at us. We recently added a Taco Bell, and we already had a Denny's and a McDonald's. So it's always nice to see those national brands looking at us. And the growth can continue, and many plans for the future. I always like to say that, I can always tell what an impact the casino and all made, because when we started, we had no stoplights. Now we have 2, so we've really moved up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? My name is Lynn Hayes. I'm Senior Legal Counsel and Director of Compliance at French Lick Resort. I'm going to talk to you briefly about our associate development. And as you heard Dave Harner indicate, that back in 2005, when just before the casino opened, the unemployment rate was very high. A lot of families were wondering at that moment in time where they were going to work with the manufacturing jobs that had left the valley. It was an opportunity for French Lick Resort to come in, provide new opportunities for growth, to reinvent people into new positions, new jobs. We have great stories of many people working at the resort who have been able to reinvent themselves. We were also able to provide jobs for minors when may have not been that many jobs for people under the age of 18 to come and work at our facility. And a lot of those people are still here today. In 2019, just before the pandemic, we employed approximately 1,700 people. Today, we are still surviving in 2022 with employment of 1,486 people. With that being said, 54% of those people employed have been with the resort for over 5 years. 30% have been with the resort for over 10 years. So we're very fortunate to have longevity in our company. People understand the benefits that they can receive through the resort. We have a very robust benefit package that includes 401k matching, as well as monthly bonus pay, a profit sharing plan, and tuition reimbursement. We started tuition reimbursement in 2016. We felt the need for people to be able to not only expand in their positions internally with the resort, but move on if they wanted to, or look for careers at the resort in upper management. In 2016, we started the tuition reimbursement. Since its inception, approximately 1,300 associates have taken advantage of the tuition reimbursement program, with approximately 127 associates in the program today in 2022. They have come away with various degrees, certificates, bachelor's degrees, licenses, a few doctorate degrees as well. The most prominent degrees are business management, business administration, human resources, marketing, hospitality, accounting, education, and communication. So we're very proud of what we've been able to provide for the associates. We're very proud that the associates are taking advantage of what we have to offer. One, I would like to spotlight very briefly an associate who gave me permission to speak on his behalf. His name is Raheem Bell. Raheem Bell works at the resort. He currently holds the position of an internal auditor. Raheem is 23 years old, and he's supposed to graduate from Indiana State University in May of 2023, with a degree in business administration. Raheem and his family moved to the United States from Jamaica when he was 11. Both of his parents work at the resort. His mother works as a server in the Colonnade. His father is a valet. Raheem started his first job at the resort when he was 16 in housekeeping, and then he moved from housekeeping to a server to valet, and now he's the internal auditor. So we just want to display to you the benefits that we see that our benefits are offering to these associates at the resort, not only to grow themselves into blossoming careers elsewhere, but to come back and to continue their journey with us internally. And so there are many other stories like Raheem's. But I just wanted to give you an opportunity to understand what we've been able to accomplish with respect to that tuition assistance program and how it is blossoming. Next, we discovered that while everyone's coming to the valley to work, people want to live where they work. And we were having difficulties in learning from potential associates and people who actually work at the resort that they have long commutes in the mornings and they can't find any place to live in Orange County. And so as a result of that, we put together a housing development program, which is providing people who live in Orange County the opportunity, or excuse me, to work in Orange County, the opportunity to live in Orange County. We are currently building homes in two different areas of the community, and we've recently sold 5 of the first houses that have been built. And with that, I would like for you to view this presentation on the housing update. Thank you.
It's a community project, 60 years in the making. Seeing the impact that we're going to be able to create on the area of businesses throughout Orange County is so exciting. Crystal Painter is the executive director of the Orange County Economic Development Partnership. Her team, along with French Lick Resort, made it our mission to bring affordable housing to the area. We plan to build 75 brand new homes, and if you've driven by Abbeydale Road lately, you can't miss the first 4. We've been able to get buyers from 4 different organizations throughout the county. So home number 1 did go to an employee from Friendship Resort. Home number 2, a Springs Valley Elementary School teacher, who's a first-time teacher, so that's exciting for her. Home number 3, Boston International, and home number 4, Pluto Corporation. Not only will this help our local economy by attracting new employees and keeping current ones, but this project is also very important for students and their families.
The home life is the most important thing for a student. And having clean, safe, new homes that they know they go home to every night, it fills them with pride. The families are filled with pride, and it just helps them in their education.
Dr. Trevor Apple is the superintendent for Springs Valley Community Schools. Only 5% of teachers there are in their 1st or 2nd year. Most of them have been there for decades. Dr. Apple says it's tough to find new teachers because they can't find anywhere to live. Katie Pierce is an exception, though, thanks to a bit of good luck.
So my family had known that I had applied for it, and I didn't tell anybody else because I didn't want to get my hopes up.
Katie is a 1st-year teacher at Springs Valley Elementary School, and she got the good news, of all places, at her home away from home. Katie is from Orange County and knew she wanted to come back home after college and work in a town so close to her heart. But she ran into a big problem, like a lot of people looking to settle down in the area.
Try to picture this, Abbeydale. I used to drive this road when I was back in high school, and there was nothing here. And now it's just brand new opportunities for so many people.
75 new houses will eventually call Abbeydale Road home. This labor of love has been a long time coming. A new subdivision hasn't been built in Orange County since the 1960s. Hopefully this one will open the door to new opportunities and growth.
And with that, I would like to introduce to you Mr. Steve Ferguson.
Members. Members of the commission, I'm Steve Ferguson, president of the resort. I was trying to resist saying anything today, but this has been a long journey. It started in 1996 when Jenny, thank you. The historic landmarks of Indiana came to see us and said,
There's this West Bend Hotel, which we are familiar with. It's one of the top 10 most dangerous buildings in the entire United States. And he said, you know, this is my last stop. I've tried everything to save it. I don't have anybody else. And so Bill and Gail and I talked about it with him. And in that discussion, when Bill was enthusiastic about it, Gail said, Steve, what do you think? And I said, Gail, I don't think as there are other projects I'll never recover our money to put into this. But this is the project of the park. We've got the know-how, we've got the money. And so I say we do it. We thought at that point that it was going to be a $5 million stabilization of the hotel because it was collapsing. It turned out that it needed an entire steel structure and that cost us $35 million. Put that in perspective, this is done on somebody else's property on a handshake. It says, well, if you ever sell it, it will repay. Fast forward, everyone tried to think of something to do with it other than it needed to be brought back to life to benefit the communities, to benefit the state of Indiana, to benefit the nation. And over the course, legislators and the local legislators were instrumental in leading the charge, along with a group of senior citizens who had nothing other than wanting to help their community, called the Orange Shirts. And they traveled to the legislature every day and gave people oranges. And this, I think, accented to the members of the General Assembly the importance of this project, both to the communities and to the state and to the nation. With that, members of the General Assembly and the leadership said, we agree with this. We are going to give you a license. We're going to give you an operating agreement to operate this hotel and restore this wonderful resort. And that operating agreement will give you the funds to that. You can sort of see both by that they keep control to assure that in fact the commitment's been made. We had a little hiccup in there where Donald Trump had been recommended and Mitch Daniels stepped in, said you're fired, and then Mitch encouraged us to be the ones to step forward. Because the problem was if you had the gaming separated from the French Lick Hotel, West Bend Hotel, the gaming organizations have an entirely different mission than we did in terms of bringing it back to the community. Trying to turn this whole community area around and restore to historic hotel. At that point, Gail Cook was very, very much opposed, and anytime gaming came up, it was clear to me that gaming was not part of what we were doing at the resort. So at that point, people saying, and we're looking at it, and I did agree that all three, that both the hotels and casino need to be in the same ownership. So I sat down, and of course, Bill was enthusiastic, and we sat down with Gail, and I explained what we wanted to do and why we wanted to do it, and why it was necessary to have this impactful project done. And she said, okay. 3 conditions. 1, that we reinvest the money in the resort. 2, if there's extra, it goes to historic preservation or education. And we work to rebuild the community. But I do not want any money from gaming coming back to Cook or a member of this family. So, Steve, that's your correction. and I've stayed very careful with that direction since that time. It's interesting. I stop by Gales, I leave work. I'll try to do it a couple of times a week. And we've all, in the last 50 years, we've eaten a lot of hot foot Sundays together. So I stop, pick up a hot foot Sunday and chocolate mousse, always with chocolate mousse. And take it by, and we have a hot foot Sunday. One of the questions she always asks me is, how are things at the resort? Last night, she asked about that, and I explained what was happening today. And she said, that's really important. We've got to have the fight to finish on this stuff. I want to thank you for your consideration. This is really an important project. Over 1 million visitors a year, but it's important to that community, to the state of Indiana, and to the entire nation. I hope if you have a chance, all of you who haven't been there, to visit and realize the importance of this resort to the entire state. But thank you very much for all you do. And that thank you goes along with another thing that is always important to me and to us as a ball, is that the gaming industry in Indiana be clean. And you've done a remarkable job with that. But if somebody gets out of line in Indiana, it reflects on us. And we don't want that reflection. So we count on you. And you've done a great job doing that to maintain the integrity of gaming in Indiana. Thank you very much.
Mr. Leiter? Does anyone have any commissioners have any questions? Any questions from the commissioners?
If I may, Chris, can you give us sort of a high level, what sort of capital projects you guys see on the horizon?
I'd like to go back and give you a sense of how we've been thoughtful with the capital that we've done over the years. And I think the three that come to mind will illustrate the rationale we have in continuing to build the destination attribute. The Peak Dive course is a remarkable piece of land. And those of you that have been up there around sunset have enjoyed those 40-mile views in all directions. We were fortunate to find a piece off from the course that allowed us to build a pavilion that opened up the opportunity for that to be a vista for groups and various social gatherings that introduced a whole new aspect of the resort in terms of giving them the aesthetic that I don't think a lot of people that come to the resort appreciate that type of topography in that area. It was so successful that a couple of years later, we expanded that space by 50%. And we additionally built an open air version of it out at the horse stables at West Baden. The second project I would refer to is our event center space that was constructed when the casino was built along adjacent to the French Lick Hotel. We doubled the size of that in effort to allow us to attract and be able to host a much larger and complicated corporate customer and association customer, and received a tremendous amount of benefit in regard of how that has allowed our business to grow through the middle of the week when it's really important that we fill our hotel rooms. And it's also allowed that in those situations that we have certain groups come in that fully utilize the space, the hoteliers in the area, being the three that Dave referred to, have enjoyed their own booking patterns tied to a sold out aspect of our facility. And then the last and most recent, right before the pandemic, we completed a modernized hotel tower, 71 rooms that is adjacent to our event center and casino. And in that space, we were able to offer new room functionality in terms of adjoining rooms, larger rooms, and things that we had found that our segments were asking in terms of the type of facilities that they had interest in staying. So I would see us continuing to evaluate what other segments of our business would benefit from capital investment. I think that those are plans that we now, with your support, will have the opportunity to get out the drawing board and continue to expand our product in ways that continue to accentuate what we found is we are a unique experience that's authentic. To come and walk the grounds or be a part of the community and all its history is not something you can replicate anywhere in the country. And we have learned to embrace that and to leverage it at every possibility we can.
Commissioners, any other questions of Mr. Laniger and his colleagues?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on your extension. Now, I think we're going to hear from our host today, folks from Caesars.
Steve Jarmus, General Manager, Horseshoe Indianapolis. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, staff. Thank you for the opportunity to host today. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about all the exciting things that are going on at our property. And I'd like to start by thanking the team here at Horseshoe Indianapolis. We put in a tremendous amount of work over the last year and a half to get us across the finish line. So we partnered with Indianapolis-based Wilhelm Construction, broke ground in April 2021, and brought more than 470 construction jobs here to Shelbyville. This is our World Series of Poker room, 20-table room. It's really the first of its kind in central Indiana. And we're excited to, at some point, host a circuit event, which is going to bring customers from all over the country and let us show some Hoosier hospitality here. This is one of our 2 high-limit spaces, both high-limit slots and high-limit tables. Received a facelift during this expansion and truly turned out amazing. Some of the best in any regional market, in my opinion. We also added over 320 slot machines to our floor. Anytime you're able to refresh 20% of your casino floor with some of the hottest machines on the market, really let you feel that excitement and modernization that we're bringing here. A few more notes. The total investment ended up just north of $38 million. We added 26,000 square feet of casino space and replaced over 100,000 square feet of carpet. Brew Brothers opened July 1st and is doing extremely well. If you get a chance, try the burn ends. And we also refreshed and expanded our team member dining room, working with the local artist to create an Indiana-themed mural on the wall. In addition to the local construction jobs, we've added over 100 new property level positions. Reinvesting in the community is important to us. This year alone, we've committed $525,000 in local donations to typically local charitable organizations. And revenue growth has been strong here in central Indiana. We've seen 24% growth in gaming revenue from 2017 and see that going forward on the horizon as well. We've done significant work on the casino side, but we're equally proud of the investment we've made into our horse racing track as well. We're at the tail end of a $7 million investment to build. We built a new barn and a new dormitory, as well as the horse treadmill I mentioned. We host the Indiana Derby here every year. This year was particularly special. We were broadcast live nationally on Fox Sports, which is great to grow the sport and great to increase that national awareness. And then next month, we're going to be hosting the Bank of America Challenge Championships, which is basically the Super Bowl of quarter horse racing. We're going to have some of the fastest horses in the country brought here to Shelbyville, so it's going to be pretty exciting. If there's no questions, I'll turn it over to Trent to talk a little bit about Harrah's Hoosier Park. Thank you.
My name is Trent McIntosh, Senior Vice President and General Manager at Harris Hoosier Park. Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners, and Executive Staff. I wanted to give you a brief update on some of the things going on at Harris Hoosier Park, specifically with the expansion of the property. I've got a few pictures. I don't have all of the pretty photos that Steve just got through sharing. Mine is very much in process. We started the project in May, but I do have a few renderings that I think are fairly interesting to kick this off. This is a picture of or a rendering of the new front of the building. The entire expansion of 30,000 square feet will basically extend forward from the front of the casino. So this is the new front of the casino. And with some of the, you can see some of the things, we didn't put a night picture in here, but there is some additional lighting on the building and some things that will just dress up the property. As you walk into the property, there's basically a central landing space, and this is a view of that, where when you walk in, you're going to have a decision point, right? You've got a bar, our center bar that'll be fully renovated. Straight forward to your right will be our new table games pit, which I'll show you in just a second, and a view of our high limit space. And if you look to the left, you'll see our new Caesars Rewards Experience Center. This is our high limit space as well. We also are adding an additional food outlet to the floor. So we'll have 2 outlets. Currently, we have 1 outlet on the floor, the Big Deli. We'll add a burger concept on the floor, as well as a pizza concept. We'll create a small food court setting. Really, just to cover the main highlights of the expansion. The total project is going to be worth $40 million. By the end of the project, we'll expand an additional 30,000 square feet of gaming space, an additional 12 table games, 150 slot machines. We've got $2.2 million in the project specifically for slot capital. So all the games that we do add will be new product. We've had great success with that and helping us grow revenue the past few years, and we'll continue down that path. Our total casino will be 82,000 square feet with all new finishes, all new carpet. One of the key things that I think is a game changer for Harris Hoosier Park is the VIP experience and the high limit space that we're creating. It's really an all-inclusive space with its own bar, with its own table pit, as well as slot machines and video poker. I mentioned earlier that we're adding a quick serve restaurant to the casino floor. And we have some portion of our team, really our finance team, that is still at an outdoor facility located adjacent to the property, that we are building some back of house space to bring the entire team inside of the building. Caesars Rewards Experience Center, I thought it was worth touching on. This is something new within Caesars that's been trialed at a few properties. That's really just a much more interactive Caesars Rewards experience, which is good for the guest, it's good for the team member, and some of the interfaces that go along with that. Not only is it more interactive, but it's a quicker transaction for our guests, and we feel like it's going to be a great addition to the guest experience. We're expecting the completion date for our project to be basically a year from today, early September 23. We also expect to add an additional estimated 100 jobs to the property. Gaming departments, non-gaming departments, food and beverage, and supporting departments. Also proud of the community giving efforts. This is one of the places, and I'll speak more to this at the end today. One of the places that I'm really proud of the efforts that not only Harris Hoosier Park, but Horseshoe Indianapolis has made strides in over the last few years. And to follow Steve's note, we also saw some revenue growth between 17 and today of approximately 21% annually. I'll keep this as brief as I can. This is basically a phase 1, a phase 2, and a phase 3, a very high level. Phase 1 is basically we built an interior wall inside of our property all the way through the front existing part of the property to shield that from the day when we pull those walls down We did that basically over a month and a half period, starting in May, with little to no interruption from the guests. I think the team did a wonderful job of mitigating any disruption. We did it 40 and 50 games at a time. We moved them, we built a small piece of the wall, we moved the games back and flowed perfectly through the casino. The picture on the top right is the brown area highlighted is really the disruption that exists today. So we've got a barricaded fence and a construction laydown area on the front right side of our facility. On the front left, we maintain our existing entryway where guests come and go. So really, we're impacted outside of visually on the outside of our building. We're impacted by losing about 127 parking spots today. And really, that's the containment of our today's disruption. Once this phase 2 is completed in February 23, excuse me, basically we'll reopen the right side, remove the barricades. The right side of the construction project will be finished. That will be our new entry and porte-cochere. And then we'll basically replay this again and do it on the left side of the building and finish the project in September of 23. This is a current drone shot of last week, and it's changed immensely again since last week. Believe it or not, things are starting to look like a project that's we're building something there. There's actually walls on 3 sides of that today, so moving along fairly quickly there. Hopefully, we'll get some of this parking area that's disrupted back here in the next couple of months. While we're here, I thought it was worth updating a couple things around community giving and race and horse racing as well. All-time record racing handle last year, 111 million for the season. We've continued to grow that really every year since we've been here, and on pace to exceed that in 2022. Not only exceed it, but honestly blow it out of the water in 22. Our signature night of racing, the Dan Patch Stakes, 1.5 million. All-time record handle for that night. And I have a more current update because this deck was turned in Thursday. We had the Caesars Trotting Classic card on Friday night last week, and we did 1.7 million, which is a new all-time record. We also had the fastest horse to ever pace, the world record holder at our facility. And I think that speaks to the world-class racing that we've put together and maintained. Racing capital, $2 million in racing capital this year. The biggest piece of that was to upgrade our racing signal, which goes out to the whole world, right? That's why we're doing $1.7 million and $1.6 million handle nights. We've lit that place up like a major league ballpark, right? We have a high definition signal. The lighting changes the game for us. So that's been a great improvement. In 23, we're looking at 2.8 million in capital, and the bigger majority of that's more of a maintenance piece, and it's going to be barn roofs, but it's something that's absolutely needed for the property and to keep us a world-class facility. And really the most exciting thing for racing is the Breeders' Crown Championships is an annual event for standardbred racing. Over $6 million in purses will be given away on that weekend, and we have been selected to be the host of that event again in 2023. As one of the premier standardbred facilities in the U.S. I thought this was important to add here, and this is just a few snapshots. I'll add some color to it though, of some community events and some team member involvement. Between the 2 properties, we don't talk about this a whole lot, but I felt like this was the right audience, where between the 2 properties last year, each property did over 4,000 hero hours from their property, from their team. And it's how we get out in the community, how we find out what's going on and what the needs of the community are. It's one of the avenues. We expect to exceed those numbers in 2022. And again, one of the other ways that we find out is through community boards. And at Harris Fisher Park alone, we have 16 people on our 16 boards that are represented by our executive teams in the community, in Anderson, in Madison County. And one of the things that I'm the most proud of, and I'm going to speak to this is more of a Caesars piece that I'm really proud to work for the company that I work for, is throughout 2020, right? We know the world was wrecked. We closed these properties for what was it, 3.5 months, 4 months of the year. I think when we talked about the 425 and the 525 and the community giving dollars, there was never a flinch from above on whether or not any of that money gets retracted or not spent in a year whenever properties were closed. And I'm talking March 15th. It was like, let's move forward with doing what's right for our communities, continuing to be a great community partner. And I really couldn't be prouder of being a part of a company that did so. And I think that's all I really have today, but I'll open for any questions if you have any.
Commissioners, any questions? Mr. Dudas?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With regard to both properties, the new property jobs, 100 at Horseshoe, and then if I'm looking at it correctly, there's a lot of slides. Another 100 at Hoosier Park. Was that were those mostly Hoosiers? Was that people from out of state? Just kind of wondering where you're seeing an influx from your employment, especially with COVID and changes in how people are thinking about employment. Where do those employees mostly come from?
Yeah, I think those are Hoosier State employees, almost exclusively beings that were more in central Indiana and really get my geography right here, maybe 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours from borders. So really, that's all Hoosiers, almost all Hoosiers.
Okay. Steve's behind you, so I don't know if he has a thought as well.
I can tell you, Steve Jarmus, I can tell you that ours were almost exclusively Hoosiers. A lot of existing team members, most of that 100 came from our poker room opening. So we had a lot of team members that came on as table games dealers in hopes that they could transfer over to poker. So we brought a lot of them over. Food and beverage was the other portion of that. Those are all local, mostly Shelbyville.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
If I may, Mr. Chair, I would just like to thank Caesars and Horseshoe Indianapolis for your hospitality for hosting us today. And Steve and Trent for, sharing the highlights of these wonderful capital projects. I mean, this is a major driver here for the economic development here in the state and increased employment. So we're happy to see you guys investing in our state.
Thank you. Steve did most of the legwork on this event, but I support it.
We thank you very much for the hospitality, for the tour of the Verifying facility and the updates, and we're looking forward to the further updates. Just to let you know, as a general, this is not the only time we're going to be on location for commission meetings. We're going to try to visit other properties just so folks on staff and otherwise know that we're making sure that we get a good bird's eye view of the facilities with whom we work. We are tentatively scheduling a December commission meeting, and we'll get more specific information relative to that.
December 15th is our date. We are going to lock in a time here shortly, but we will be sure to get that up as soon as possible because I know get the holidays, things get very busy. So we want to get that on everyone's calendar.
We'll get that on the calendar. And any other questions from commissioners? Having none, we'll accept the motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.